This video brought to you by Surfshark VPN.
The claim I was only following orders has been used to justify too many tragedies in our history. Starfleet doesn't want officers who will blindly follow orders without analyzing the situation.
Before I delve too deeply into all of this, I want to clarify that this video started out as an analysis of communicators and just morphed into, well, the culture and oppressive nature of the Federation through the military arm of Starfleet. People may, wrongly, think this is some kind of attempt to bring issues occurring in real life into Trek. Now, I'm not above doing that. In fact, I think when it's appropriate we should, but this, honestly, it just turned out the way it did. I'll be presenting what the creators of Star Trek have written and just discuss that. Whether you like the implications or not, don't blame me.
No.
The trouble is Earth.
Really?
On Earth, there is no poverty, no crime, no war. You look out the window of Starfleet headquarters and you see paradise.
I'm just a messenger. From around roughly 2265 until just after 2380, the United Federation of Planets would have worlds, usually located at the core of Federation space, that are considered to be paradises. While we could try to look at planets such as Vulcan, Andor, and Teller Prime, we don't have a ton of information on them. Due to this, we're going to analyze Earth. Earth is, according to dialogue found in the original series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, a paradise where literally there is no want and no crime. Humans have evolved past their basic negative impulses. They are happy and they're docile. Hell, it is even explicitly stated in the original series, The Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine. Voyager just inferred it. However, ironically, in every series that's set in the 24th, 25th, and 31st century, we see the exact opposite of this claim. Ultimately, crime and even hardship still exists. It is so obvious that humans are being hypocritical that even the Ferengi can see right through them.
Put their lives in jeopardy over an extended period of time, and those same friendly, intelligent, wonderful people will become as nasty and as violent as the most bloodthirsty Klingon.
This creates an interesting perspective when you gauge the reality of the situation versus the lie that is believed by the populace. Humanity would constantly tout its evolutionary advancements, and generally, it does seem like they fit this standard. But ultimately, we know because of certain episodes that this is largely due to the creature comforts of technology.
When I had the chance to show that no matter what anyone did to me, I was still an evolved human being, I failed. I repaid kindness with blood. I was no better than an animal.
When they're on Earth, they don't have anything to worry about, nothing to fear. However, when they're in situations where they might starve or die, humanity reverts back to its baser nature. In the Trek universe, nurture wins out whole cloth over nature. So it makes sense with this understanding of humans in mind that there has to be controls. But more on that later. Even if we assume that humans in Star Trek are naturally lacking the vices we see in the real world, which they are definitively not. They have those vices, but let's just assume that they don't. Let's assume that Picard is absolutely right that humans have shed all negatives of being human. Even if all of that is true, the problem is the universe doesn't allow for humanity to enjoy this luxury. Klingons, Romulans, the Borg, hell, the Dominion, all are just major examples of things that humans have to deal with. Those are the major ones. They have a ton of minor ones as well. Morals and ethics are wonderful if everyone plays by those rules. If they do, then everyone can be the superior version of themselves. But the moment one side stops being above board, well, everyone has to drop their standards. This is the entire justification of Section 31 after all. It assumes that humanity is ethical, has shed off its baser nature, and will defend what is good and righteous. And that the way people like Bashir or Picard thinks absolutely cannot work. At least not without someone there to protect them. Someone has to watch the sheep to protect them from the wolves.
Hey,
looking good, looking good. Oh, Carlos, come in. Yes, sir. I went to put on my uniform and I found this, which I'm engineering and not science. It's also 2 sizes too small. What's going on? It's Wacky Tacky Friday. I changed everyone's uniforms. We're all having fun. Don't you think that's gonna cause some confusion? Who's gonna know that I'm an engineer? What do you mean? Nothing possibly could go wrong.
Structural integrity breach on Deck 6, Deck 7, and Deck 12.
That's probably not related. Okay, what uniform are you wearing? Oh, this old thing? I'm Section 31. Okay, there's also something else confusing. You wanted me to beam down to a house on Earth and do an advertisement for Surfshark VPN? We don't have money in the future? Or the present, I guess, for us? And, what's an advertisement? Energize. No, wait! I'm gonna murder him. That's what's gonna happen. Thank God I brought my backup communicator.
Incoming transmission.
Oh, answer it. Sir, can you hear me? Are you using your VPN? Don't want to be tracked by them right now. Surfshark VPN, what are you talking about? Our comm badges are literally match...
We are the Borg.
Oh, fuck! Poor lad. He should have been using Surfshark VPN. Had he been using this premier service, he could be confident in his online security and talk to us without worrying about the Borg. Surfshark VPN keeps your online identity safe by encrypting all of the information sent between your device and the internet. It also keeps your personal data safe from big companies, cyber criminals, and probably the Borg. Okay, maybe not the Borg. Not only that, but if you want to watch all of the content that you can from Netflix, yet do it from your quiet vista that you own in the United Kingdom's countryside, then Surfshark VPN is for you. You can easily change your location, showing yourself in the United States, and begin watching what you never should have been blocked from in the first place. Whether you don't want to be found by the government or just want to watch the most recent Gilmore Girls, check out Surfshark VPN. There's got to be a phaser around here somewhere. Oh, thank God. Maybe he's come to his senses and he's gonna beam me back up. Text only. Go to surfshark.deals/lore to get 83% off your purchase and 3 free months. Links in the description below. Surfshark VPN. Supporting the sponsors supports Space Dock. So if the entirety of the population falsely believes that humanity and other species now are just paragons of righteousness, the lie going so far as to say that humans no longer even experience these emotions, then there must be some way that this deception is propagated. Additionally, it is logical that the belief in such things impacts how the populace interacts with each other and how you could manipulate it. One of the possible ways for the manipulation is the use of language. We know that the Federation standard is likely English. This is based on evidence and dialogue found in the Star Trek Discovery episodes New Eden and There Is a Tide. And that's not even to mention the fact that the names of vessels, as well as the words we see on computer panels, are all in English. Tie into the fact that generally it is accepted that the language that is spoken by people will impact their culture. Various languages will often emphasize and de-emphasize certain aspects of a civilization. This will undoubtedly impact the way others think. For instance, as an example, a language that has gender associated to specific objects could have certain implications, versus one that is gender neutral. Does the choice of English push any kind of agenda? I honestly don't know, but it is something to consider. Another consideration is that of the communicator. Dating back as early as the 22nd century, communicators have been used by the United Earth, Vulcan, Teleprime, Andor, and many, many others. It would be adopted by the United Federation of Planets Starfleet as well. We also know that these devices are programmed to only allow certain words from the various languages. So here's a question. How hard would it be to change certain terms to make them more or less palatable? As an example, if you take an action such as, say, using a biogenic weapon to poison a planet so that it can't be inhabited by humans, and you change that event, you change that term to say the planet was terraformed so that it can be inhabited by the Cardassians after the loss of one of their homes, you change the discussion of what that captain may or may have not done entirely. In fact, if you take terms or words and change them from one thing to another, you can impact how an entire civilization views a certain kind of people or ideology. Additionally, if you also tie the equipment that allows you to communicate with other people to the best way to track a person, then you now have a way to impact what's being said, see whom is around whom, and where they are congregating. Honestly, Utopia has never been so well protected from insurrection. All of the things discussed before are interesting and do show contradiction, but they aren't as concerning. We do know that words are omitted, but there's no direct evidence of manipulation of the communicators. However, the abilities of the Federation and Starfleet go far beyond that.
I found something, and you're not going to like it. This is Mr. Parris' memory engram for the last 24 hours. As you can see, it has a very consistent and distinctive modulation.
We know that Starfleet monitors the brainwaves of its officers, as well as has direct monitoring of all Federation citizens, whether they wear a uniform or not. Looking at the Star Trek Voyager episode, Cathexis, we see that Starfleet vessels and medical personnel actively monitor the crew's vitals. This includes the brain. These scans are so meticulous that they can identify memories being imprinted onto the brain itself and know if it's being altered. Speaking of altering brain states, we also know that cortical inhibitors could be used to impact a brain's theta waves along with other parts of the said organ. Hell, Starfleet technology has the ability to make a dead corpse look like it is alive by generating the needed impulses. Let me be succinct. Starfleet both actively monitors the brainwaves and memory engrams of officers on a daily basis and has the ability to change them. Not only is this ability actively available, but in the Star Trek Picard episode Remembrance, we know that Starfleet officers with the appropriate clearance can find civilians anywhere on planet Earth, if not on other various ships or other planets. The surveillance that is done by Starfleet and its ability to change what you feel or think, and the duplicity of sanctioning Section 31 is scary. We also have to question how information is shared. What is the civilian populace told about the Borg, the Dominion War, and more? In alternate universes, we know that Starfleet will lie. As an example, yesterday's Enterprise, the Federation is lying about how well the war is going, or how bad it is going. They keep information away from the civilians. Is it so far out of left field that we would think someone in the Prime timeline would do the same thing? Why wouldn't they hide information like how close Earth came to being assimilated? The Federation, through Starfleet, can identify what a person is thinking, where they are, and what they're doing. We know they are at least pushing a narrative that humanity has evolved past its baser emotions. Is it really a stretch to think that if they're willing to lie about this, they won't lie about other things for control of paradise? That leads to our ultimate question. It seems more likely than not that the United Federation of Planets, through Starfleet, are manipulating the population to create a perfect utopia, one that people can live with. And if this is so, is that negative? On Earth and the core planets, there is bliss, at least before 2380. No crime, you don't have to lock your doors, you live in the most perfect life. You can be whatever you want or do whatever you want. Mostly. Is it worth it if the price shows you to be in a gilded cage? This might come as a surprise, but I don't know the answer. If human, or sentient sapient beings, happiness is the goal, and you can do so and have someone enjoy their life to the fullest, but it comes at the cost of their freedom and a lie, arguably that's not necessarily a bad thing. You could even say it's happening in the Trek universe, at least until Section 31 shows itself. And if it is, then why not? I really don't know the answer, but all of these are my opinions based on what we see. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, ultimately all our lives are a story. Make yours a good one. Go to surfshark.deals/lore to get 83% off your purchase and 3 free months. Links in the description below.